Did you guys get your copies of the financials, by the way?
Oh, you know what? They were on email, and I printed them out and I meant to look at
Oh,
it.
it's okay. You wanna table those?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Because I don't think anybody wrote up to.
Yeah.
I printed mine out.
Okay, we're here.
Okay. I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 12:30. Roll call,
Joe Campbell.
Deborah Cass,
Ellen Ray Bauer.
Charlotte Kiffer?
Larry. Larry,
Uh-oh.
no Larry.
Larry? Larry, are you there? Hello? Hang on. Okay, Larry, you're back on. I'm on.
Okay, so we're on roll call to you.
I'm Larry Tennant.
Okay. Pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence to honor those who served our country and within public safety and those we lost.
Pledge allegiance to the
Flag
flag
of the United States of America,
And
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 4 on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We have executive session minutes, public portion 7/25/2019. I'm abstaining from all the minute votes because I've not been here for them.
I have a note that I've okayed the July 25th minutes, so I will make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
Roll call for vote.
Joe Campbell.
Deborah Cass abstain.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Okay, that one passed. Executive minutes confidential is 7/25, set 1, 2, and 3.
I make a motion, we approve those minutes.
I second that.
Roll call
Joe
vote.
Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass abstain.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Okay. Executive minutes confidential 8/30/2019, set 1 and 2.
Madam Chair, can I make a motion that we postpone that until the next meeting?
Okay, so we'll table that one.
Aye.
And the regular regular minutes.
Do I need a second for that?
Oh, yes, I guess we do.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
Joe get a
that.
second.
Oh, okay.
And call on the vote.
Aye. Joe Campbell.
Deborah Cass abstain.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Okay. Regular minutes for 8/30/2019.
I so move that we approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Call for vote.
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass abstain.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Thank you. Next item is 5 reports. Fire chief report. Discovering board may not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on this matter unless the specific matter is properly noticed for legal action. Therefore, action taken as a result of the chief's report will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or scheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later date. Arizona Rice Statute 38-431.042.k.
Hey, September, our room reports, we had 0 AMR transports. Chief call out after hours was 4. 52 transports, 3 refusals, which all 3 refusals were billed. 5 fire calls, 0 service calls, 2 good intent, 0 false alarms. Highway 93 calls was 8 with a total calls of 74. Scheduling for September, we're covered in full for Station 41, 22 days covered in Meadview. October schedule is in process now, will be coming out this next week. Meetings, conference, and trainings for September 9/3 through 9/8. I attended new chief seminar at Arizona State Fire School. 9/10 we had run review and pre-hospital care meeting. 9/12 through 9/13 was Arizona Ambulance Conference for the legislation for the ambulance billing, CONs, all that. 9/16 had a meeting with Golden Valley Fire Chief and Kingman Fire Chief over mutual aid agreements and responding for chloride. 9/18 I went down to Bullhead City Fire Department for apparatus viewing for, it's in our agenda on an apparatus that needed, that's in the agenda that we're looking at. 9/20 we had the live burn volunteer training for suppression personnel and volunteers. 9/24 I'll be going to our monthly communication center dispatch user group meeting, and then the 26th is the Mojave County Fire Officers Association that I attend monthly. Upcoming for October, we have normal run review monthly, the Mojave County Fires Officers Association meeting, starting towards third, fourth week of October. We're gonna start hose testing all our hose. That's for all the suppression personnel. Late October, beginning of November, we're starting up the CPR first aid for local residents. We wanted to wait till it wasn't so hot, because we're gonna be doing it in the bays and that. I have instructors lined up in that to do the CPR first aid for, that's gonna be in the works for late October, beginning of November. October 12th, we have the pancake breakfast fundraiser event. I believe it's 12th, right?
Yeah.
Have that right?
Yeah.
Okay. October 14th, we are gonna be taking Engine 411 down to Kingman for Walk Away from Drugs, participation in it. All the departments are doing it. We got a spot open for us in it this year, so we're gonna partake in that. October 19th, the Dolan Springs Community Days event. We're gonna have the fire engine, Chief 401's truck, the ambulance, all those there for that. October 25th is when we are planning to do the truck or treat at the station. We changed that from the 31st because of all the other events going on the 31st. And the 31st, we are gonna be participating in the school's Mount Tipton's Elementary Halloween event there, so. District properties, nothing new to report except, well, Station 42, we've had a couple guys that had to do community service, and they weeded the whole property, cleared up the whole property, so that is, that's done now. Now they're gonna start community service on Station 41. District vehicles apparatus, engine 431 is out of service right now due to TCM in the transmission. That's computer that runs the shifting and everything, that's getting repaired now. And then put tires on Chief 401's truck due to metal showing on the inside and a bubble in the rear tire.
Is that the new one?
It's his command vehicle.
The community
The one you
vehicle.
just got?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we put new tires on it.
No,
Oh,
no. Projects in the works. I did this morning submit a grant for the Wackums grant for new radios for communications. Still, we have not got a turn down letter or award letter yet for the FSA grant for the water tender. So that's still waiting that. I did go out to White Hills last week and still working on the contracts with them. I went out and visited them all last week. Out of 5 of the owners, I got a hold of 2, and I noticed there were emails this morning from 2 others, so I'm
Oh.
still working on that. And then Karen and I are working on a subscription service for White Hills and Mead City and that, so I got some information from Golden Valley Fire Chief that just did a subscription service for a housing development outside his district, and it was pretty successful, so he's getting us some information on that. So we're working on that, getting that together right now. Right now, our staffing, we're still staffed with 3 full-time firefighter EMTs, 20 PLC firefighters, paramedics, and 3 PLC EMTs. We currently right now have 9 volunteers in the work. I have 5 other applications I have to go through this week. And that we're reviewing and doing background checks on now. So, and after Karen and I reviewed our funding that we currently have and project using the model for the staffing for suppression, and for the time being seemed the best fit, doing the PLCs instead of hiring full-time medics. We're saving a lot on overtime, and we're staying fully staffed. So we didn't feel that there was an urgency to keep the ad out for the full-time paramedics. So we took that ad down, and we're working with running with the PLCs we have now. I'm working on getting more coverage to Meadview with these new PLCs that we've hired, where I think October's looking at 26 to 28 days covered in Meadview. So we just have to be aware of the budget restraints for that. But we're working on things to get Meadview covered a lot more. So, and I wanted in this part to take time out, and I know not everybody watches these, to thank all our suppression staff, the full-time PLCs, and especially our volunteers. Our volunteers have been kicking butt. They've been doing a good job. I mean, they've gone out, and one of them's here, he can attest that they've been going out middle of the night. They've been, I mean, for these brush fires, it's fire season, and they've been handling it. Our on-duty crews have not had to handle a brush fire in the last month
That's awesome.
because of our volunteers.
Wow.
Great.
So, they're doing an outstanding job, and I wanna take time out to thank Karen. She's been busy. Our administrative assistant keeps the ball rolling in this. She's been doing a lot, and she saves my butt. Thank you, Karen. And in the volunteers, I wanna put it out to Phyllis has done a lot. She's been pulling 4 or 5 days a week, getting things ready for board meetings and answering phones and talking to people. She's doing a lot. And like I mentioned earlier, I would like to do something for our volunteers to show the recognition that they're doing a great job. The ethics and morale in the department has come way up. I mean, everybody sees it. It's changed for the better. We've made progress, a lot of progress in the last 3 months, even though there is a big hill to climb and a lot more to do. We don't give up, we don't quit, and we're pushing through. So we're doing good, we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So,
Chief, can I ask you, the contracts for White Hills, what's involved in all of that?
so it's service contracts to provide fire service to them. We already provide medical because they're in our CON. But, so, you take their assessed value with what's on their property, and then they would pay, a yearly fee that it would be just like they're in our fire district. And then we provide fire service to them. We respond, because technically without the fire service, same with Meade City and them, if we can't respond, we don't have the personnel, or they're not in our fire district, we can say, no, we're not gonna respond. And those guys out there are kinda in White Hills, which all of them did not know, the owners did not know that they didn't have fire service. And none of them knew that having that contract helps lower their property insurance and that. So, they thought they were covered by Boulder City Fire, which they're not.
No.
We're the closest, and they didn't know. When I talked to them, they're like, well, we assumed that Boulder City was the closest. A lot of them, the only one, Russ, which he owns the last stop, he's the only one that knew. The other ones, they're like, well, Boulder City's closest to us. Well, you're not covered under Boulder City. So, they were, a few of them were surprised. They did not know. So it's a yearly contract, and you can do 3, 5 years, however you wanna, that you come to agreement to set the
Hello?
contract for.
And with White Hills, the talk of that there's going to be a planned community there. Is there any time frame that you know of, and how will that benefit the LMRFD?
When I talked to the architect, when he sent the plans over, they said they plan on breaking ground around February, March of 2020, and I didn't get how long it was gonna take, but, eventually it would be same thing as White Hills, annexing it into the fire district.
Do you foresee, and this is a long shot, do you foresee putting a station out there at some point if they get that development up and running?
If they get it up and running, well, the guy that owns Rust, that owns the last stop, when I first talked to him, he had land that, with a building that we could use as a volunteer fire station out there that he was gonna donate. And we would just put the equipment and the volunteers out there as a volunteer station. But, I see within, the next 6 to 10 years, this growing, that our fire district's gonna be a lot bigger.
Wow, that's fabulous. Thank you, Chief.
Good job.
Good job.
Okay, we're on to the 5B, the financial reports. Did anybody get to read through their financials, since we didn't get them until like 2 days ago?
I
I'm
did.
gonna get Gabe on the line.
I did
Read,
not.
I don't think you need to, because I think we're gonna have to table it.
I'll make a motion, Madam Chair, to table the financial report until the next meeting in October.
I'll second that.
A call for vote?
Madam Chair,
Yes?
the financials have to be approved within 30 days every month, so you're gonna have to call for a special meeting.
Well, unfortunately, most of us didn't get to read them that I'm taking. I don't know, Larry, did you get to read the financials?
Not all of them.
It's a little hard for us to vote on something we didn't read.
So 30 days within what day?
30 days to what day, Karen?
I'd have to pull up the statute.
Okay. Well, can you do that, please?
Oh, can we do this
Because
meeting?
our October meeting is the 21st.
And that's still
Today's
under
the
30 days.
That's under
Within
30
30
days,
I'd say that counts.
Okay.
if the statute reads that way.
If it reads that way, Karen, our next meeting's on the 21st, which is before the 30-day
Oh,
time
I
period.
lied. Is it the
Oh.
3rd or the 4th?
4th,
Why don't we move it to the 21st?
we can. Well, it just makes it to where we won't have the financials usually, that's why we moved it to the 4th.
But we would then be able to do the statute. Use
Yeah.
the statute, not have a special meeting if we could.
That's true.
Okay, let me find it if you wanna go on to the next.
Okay, if you can do that, this is not finished on the motion yet, so we'll have to come back to it. Executive business, discussion and possible action regarding PTO calculation, recalculation for former Chief DeMaio, and documentation submitted related to matter referred to determination. Ellen.
After discussion with the attorney, it was determined that even though there was vacation time overused by the previous fire chief to the tune of $2,474.42, that because it wasn't clearly defined in his contract, it's on the department to, on the district to suck it up, basically. So we're not going to try to recover that, but it's also determined that the fire district is not required to pay out any sick leave, which we already paid out $568.53 before we got that information. So we do have the authority, the legal authority to go collect that, but then it would cost us that much or more to have the attorney draw up the paperwork and to pursue that claim. So it was decided that that we will just let that go with a letter of explanation sent to the previous chief, and I'm assuming he has to sign something agreeing to that. That would be
I'm not
part of
sure.
the letter.
I would
I
say
didn't
so.
catch that, but I think we would probably stipulate
That
that
in the motion.
in, yeah.
I think
So we need a motion to that, huh?
Yes, we do.
So I will make the motion that we direct our attorney to prepare the letter as he described to the previous fire chief, stating that we will not pursue collection of the $3,042.95 that was originally determined that he owed us, and that the attorney will, in preparation of that letter, have agreement from the previous chief if that's acceptable.
I second it. Vote,
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, yes.
Ellen Raybauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer abstains.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Okay. Vote passed.
Could I ask one thing before you move on?
Yeah, I guess.
In the letter that the attorney sends, how do you address the $500 and some dollars are already paid?
Well, that we can't discuss right now because that was done through legal
Okay.
counsel.
Okay,
So-
I just
So we can,
waiting
okay,
on this.
yeah, I will have Karen call you and explain it to you after the meeting.
That's all right, I
Okay.
don't care.
Okay.
As long as it's addressed.
Okay,
But the attorney will probably address that.
Yes,
in
he
the
will.
letter. That's what I think he does.
oh, okay, yeah, the bill will be addressing that in that letter that he'll be sending.
That's all I care about.
Okay. Next item is 6B, discussion of possible action regarding prior EEOC matter. DeMaio reference information related to notification status for EOC and parties involved. Charlotte?
In the investigator's report dated December 20th, 2018 regarding the EEO complaint, there was a sentence in there that says that the, and I want to read it. I found it. I did find it. Now I lost it. I'll find it. It's important. This came up because I've been reviewing the last bill from the attorney, and one of his attorneys was involved in reviewing EEOC regarding ADA matters and EEOC. And so the sentence popped back out at me that says, "The EEOC has indicated no action is required of the district in response to the charge." And my thought was, well, when did they find that out and who found that out? And that's what I've posed to the attorney. Because we've gone through all of this, we've spent a lot of money, and so it became important to know, when did somebody find out that the EEOC indicated no action is required of the district, and when did they find that out? And the attorney said he is researching that, so that's what that matter is about.
So at this time, there's no action?
No action. But it will be carried over to the next agenda.
Correct.
Right.
6C, discussion of possible action regarding personal matters, Tim Bonney, interim fire chief contract. That's the board in general. I'm not sure what all we can say about that other than we're signing it.
Yeah.
So, as at this time, we'll be signing Tim's contract, and so, I think we need a vote on, oh,
Don't you have to vote to approve the contract?
that's what I'm getting
Before you
ready to
can
do right
sign.
now.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, I need a motion to approve the chief's
I'll make
contract.
that motion to approve the fire chief's contract as it stands.
I'll second it. Call for a vote.
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, yes.
Ellen Ray Bauer, yes.
Charlotte Kiffer, yes.
Larry Tennant, yes.
Yeah, all approved.
Yay,
This-
chief.
Yay, chief.
Finally.
Discussion of 6D, discussion of possible action regarding personal matters, 3-month board and self-performance evaluation and forms related to interim fire chief Tom Bonney.
We did it.
We did it, it's done, he passed with flying
There's
colors.
flying colors.
I don't think that one takes any action because,
Yeah, what could you do?
yeah, there's nothing we have to do.
To kind of summarize though, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I think it's been the consensus of the board
Mhm.
that Chief Bonnie has done an excellent job. Everyone in the community is pleased. We're
He's had a lot of hurdles to get over.
a lot of hurdles to, landmines to navigate, and the fact that he's put together this volunteer program is just tremendous, and I think his actions speak of his commitment to the communities that he represents, and the communities will benefit because of that and have benefited that. And so we want to thank the chief and also his staff and the volunteers, which have become a very integral part of what's going on with the district.
Yes,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I do think this would be the appropriate place to make the changes we're going to make to these forms as far as how we use them, to make this one that was an annual review that will be quarterly, because the chief, we changed his contract to be quarterly reviews rather than annual reviews.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
we would
yes.
utilize this form for the quarterly.
Karen, would we be able to do that now, or do we need to make that an agenda item?
No, I put forms related on there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we want to make a change to the review form.
Go ahead and make a motion.
Okay, so I'll make that motion that the one that was previously, the fire chief review, let's see, how does it, it's the lengthier one. They both say annual though, that's the problem. The one that says evaluation, well, that has evaluation standards too.
Yeah, I think it's just this makes it different here.
Lake Mother Ranch's fire chief review, that says fire chief review.
Well, it says annual review, so if we just, it's the 6-paged one, Karen.
Yeah, it's a long one. We're gonna make that the quarterly. I make the motion that the 6-page annual review be made quarterly review, and that the 2-page annual review remain the annual review.
I will second that. Call to a vote.
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
It is approved. Is that it? On that one?
That's all for me.
Okay. Karen, did you find out yet on the 30-day statute for financials?
I'm almost there.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Keep going. Number 7, regular business. A, discussion of possible action regarding update of bidding process outcome, reference to sale of mobile unit located at 16126 Pierce Ferry Road, Dolan Springs, administration. That's you.
I did what you guys instructed, I put it on the, surplus site, no one was interested. I got nothing. We do have a local in Dolan that is willing to haul it off. And after talking to, some of the other people, there's a lot of broken down furniture and stuff in it. It's gonna have to be emptied out, which we're gonna have to get a roll off. So we were talking about maybe keep having the guy that wants it, take in those expenses that it's gonna cost us to get the roll-off to clear it out. And then it costs the district no money, and he's gonna haul it off, clean it up, everything where it's at, and get it out of there. So, we tried the surplusing, and no interest at all.
What about, I'm not on social media, but, and certainly it was the appropriate place to put it, the surplus equipment, et cetera. Would it be worth a look-see to put it on social media and see if there's any interest locally? Because a lot of people don't go to the surplus site to.
It was put on social media.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
And how much is this guy willing to pay for it?
We were offered $50 for it, but he's doing all the work he has to go buy the axles for it, because it doesn't have axles, the tongue for it, which is costing him about $1,400. So, that's why but we haven't had anybody else wanna come do the work to get it out, and, he's gonna use it, he's gonna rebuild it, his son's gonna come from Vegas, I guess, and rebuild it, and, cause him and his family are living in 3 different travel trailers on his property, so.
What year is that? What year is that?
82?
Am I interested?
I'm not sure he can legally put it anywhere.
Well,
But that's his
it's-
problem.
It's already,
not
yeah,
yours.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
what I
not
understand,
my
it's already in
problem.
Mojave County, so it's still legal to move, from what I understand.
And you'll have
but-
something in writing with him
Oh, yeah.
spelling all of these?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So I guess,
Madam Chair,
yes,
do we have title to that trailer?
well, how do we have ownership of it if we don't have a title on it?
It was a donation given by the church,
Uh-huh.
and I've gone back and, all the way back to Dave Estenson, and no one was aware of a title for it.
It's pretty easy to get titles for things like that in Arizona.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, so it'll be up to him to probably get a title too.
So that'll be in the agreement.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, so I guess we need a motion to have him go ahead and go forward with this?
I so move.
That's with the understanding the guy's gonna pay whatever it is for the roll-off to clean it up, get stuff out of it, yeah. I'll second that.
Call the
Joe
roll.
Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Raybauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Approved. Oops, I wrote that in the wrong spot. No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
I was saving that for the chief's office, doggone it.
Oh, no.
7B, discussion of possible action regarding current LMRFD vacation suppression policy and proposed updated and revised LMRFD vacation suppression policy, admin and Bauer.
I know this is yours. Can I make a motion that we move this to our next meeting? I just got to see it.
So, you wanna make a motion for that?
Yeah, make a motion to move it to
Okay.
the next meeting.
I'll second it. Vote,
Aye, Joe Campbell.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Raybauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Okay. 7C, discussion of possible action regarding volunteer utility support vehicle U-419, possible purchase, admin. Got you, Tim?
So, I got an email the other day from Jim Dykens from Bullhead City, he's a fire marshal. They are putting out, they offered it up to all departments in Mojave County before they surplus it out. It's a 93 ambulance, full square box like we have up here in Meadview. They used it for it was a hazmat vehicle at first, and then they used it for their fire extinguisher training vehicle. They're selling it for $1,000. It's got 38,000 original miles on 7.3 liter diesel. I went down, that's what was in my chief's report, I went down to Bullhead the other morning and looked at it, drove it, everything, and it's something that I was thinking we could use for our volunteers. Right now, the volunteers use the brush truck. I can only get 2 people in it. I believe they had a fire, was it last week, Jay? The
We had
hay
several.
fire, yeah, I know you had several, the hay fire, that several of the volunteers went on. And a lot of volunteers are using their personal vehicles to go these fires, which I don't think is right.
Well, it puts us in liability.
Exactly. So,
It'd be nice for us to go out fire and have that for rehab too,
yeah.
especially in these hot
And
days.
it's a, back of the ambulance is, I got pictures of it here too, I've tried printing them out, but, it's a box ambulance on, exactly what we have in Meadview. The back has got the cabinets and everything out of it. We can put extra hand tools for the fires in there, we can put, extrication equipment, so when the volunteers help us on an accident on 93, we have our second set of extrication equipment on there, and,
The ice chest with water and
everything.
juice.
There's the pictures you guys can swipe through. Bullhead did
I already saw it.
Bullhead did receive a grant 3 weeks ago from State Farm for $3,000 that they put brand new tires and wheels on it, and then the chief decided they want to get rid of it. So the chief was going to donate it to whoever was interested, but their board said they had to get something out of it, and $1,000 is what they came up with, so they get something out of it.
So the bench that's in here, is that usable for transporting them if you have more than two guys, or is that a
Yeah.
lay-down bed?
No, no, we can put guys in there,
Okay.
and then what Jay was talking about rehab too, we can have them back there if we need.
Can you
You
see
know.
this?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Switch back this way.
Rest. I wish we had something like that when I was a fireman.
But this way volunteers can all get in it and go to, brush fire or accident out on 93 where we need their help for extrication, and we can get all the tools and everything in it.
And you said the insurance was how much for a year?
I think it came out to $215 a year, and to register it's $4 a year.
You have to do new, wording on the.
They'll take the Bullhead City off it, and the only thing we'll have put on is our Lake Mojave Ranchos.
Where do you see in the budget that we have $1,000 for that?
I think out of money where volunteer training, that we have $10,000 in, since the training for our volunteers is coming free, because they're doing it with all our full-time guys. The training for the volunteers they're training right along with our full-time guys, so it's not costing.
I think that
Anything.
volunteer line item, as I had originally intended it when I asked for it, I think it ended up that way, was volunteer support anyway, so.
Yeah.
So that
That
leaves
would be
that,
support.
pardon,
That
that
would
would
be
be
support.
support,
Mhm.
absolutely. It's not just training, I think it's support.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I make a motion that Tim go ahead and pick up this ambulance from Bullhead for $1,000 and make it the support vehicle for volunteers. Because our volunteer program is just gonna keep growing, and we need all the equipment support, and it's definitely a liability for people to be showing up on fire scenes with their own vehicles.
I'll second that. I'll call for a vote on it.
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Yeah, it was approved.
How soon would you get that, chief?
Their board meeting is tomorrow, so it's not on their agenda.
Oh,
So, I can email him today when I get back to the office and let him know our board approved it. And
How are you
then,
doing it for you?
so, his board will, which means we'll get it, he just has to let his board know in their October meeting that it's done in there, so it'll be October, and I don't know what
Gee.
date.
I
Yes,
have a question. Are you gonna have to put a radio in that
no, because with the radios we have, with this grant that we're doing, we'll have extra radios, and they can do, the volunteers, we're gonna set up with the handheld radios.
Okay.
Any more questions?
That was just my question.
Okay.
Because I know what they cost.
7D, discussion of possible action regarding fit for duty evaluation for the administrative assistants referral admin.
So, I got a call back from the company doing this and the doctor's office. The doctor was not in for October, so they did schedule an appointment in November. We do have, I don't know the exact date, it was, I think, second week of November. We do have that, appointment and all the reports and everything. We are getting all the rest of the paperwork to them. And then, I can fill you guys in as soon as that comes into me, so.
Great.
Any questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
who is this fitness for duty report evaluation on?
The administrative assistant.
Okay. Madam Chair, I think it's a waste of money. She's doing an excellent job, and I would make a motion that we quit wasting money, that we do not do the fit for evaluation. I think I would make the motion that we do not do the fit for evaluation.
I don't think that's on the agenda. This is just, discussion
That's just possible action, so yeah.
regarding the referral.
Okay. Karen, can this motion go through? Because Charlotte's questioning the way it's written on the agenda.
Can you read me the agenda item?
Discussion and possible action.
I think it, D as in David.
Yeah,
Discussion of possible action regarding fit for duty.
says
And
discuss.
it references the referral. He can make the motion.
I make a motion that we no longer pursue the fit for duty. She's doing fit for duty, and that's it. We eliminate that.
But that's not the issue, Larry. The issue is that this was brought
Okay,
up.
wait, we gotta get a second on that first before we can discuss.
Okay,
Do I get a second on that?
I'll take it.
of course.
Okay, now we can discuss.
It's not a matter of whether or not she's doing the job. It's a matter that the attorney recommended that we take this action because it was brought up as a potential liability, a potential lawsuit for the district.
If I remember right, he said that we didn't have to do it, but we could. But this has been going on for 2 years, so I can't remember his exact wording.
Let me just say this, how much, or ask this, how much money have you spent from the district on this? I get all kinds of figures up into the $50,000 range.
No. No,
Not yet anyways.
no, not even near that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go
I
ahead
saw $15,000 for an investigator.
It's a whole different
that's a
area.
different situation. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and call for vote. Are you gonna go?
I want to continue to discuss this.
Okay,
The fitness for duty has to do with the position that we're discussing, which is an office-based position, is being done from home based on allegation that it falls under the ADA.
Okay,
And the fitness for duty is to determine, for sure, because initially the attorney said it didn't appear to him that it did fall under the ADA, but to cover ourselves, that this matter be forwarded for a medical review by a physician to make that determination. And I know you're new to the board, Larry, and we've been through this in terms of what the cost will be, what cost for the evaluation to take place, for the employee to go to the evaluation, that there is a legal liability hanging over the board regarding this, which I think is the most critical piece of this. And it's not a matter of job performance. It is not. It's a separate issue from that.
what is the legality on that?
Huh?
What's the legality over the board since she's not our
Because
employee?
if the board says to the employee, we want you to work in the office, we want you to be at every board meeting, we want you to work in the office, and the employee says, look, I said it falls under the ADA, you're ignoring me, and you're making me come to work, I'm gonna file a lawsuit that you are ignoring the fact that I've made an ADA claim, and there we go again. So this is to clarify, is it or isn't it? I just wanna know, is it or isn't it?
Yeah,
And
well,
then we can go from there.
I feel that she's not our employee, so She's never been our employee. I didn't think this should all have been falling onto us. But,
Madam Chair,
sure,
this is Larry.
yes,
I'm familiar with ADA and you will lose.
I
Number
know.
one, or we will lose. Number two, my daughter manages multi-million dollars accounts from Hawaii here in Oregon. I have no fear that Karen is managing the district. Whether she's at the meeting or not, there are a lot of people who run companies from their home. Billion-dollar companies. Madam Chair, I call for a vote on the motion. I don't think we should waste the district's money any longer. I believe she's fit, that she can do the duties from her home. She shows up to the board meetings when requested.
Okay,
And I
Larry,
think
Larry,
we
Larry,
should vote on it.
Larry, let me run this by you. Let me run this scenario by you.
I don't know why we keep doing scenarios, but.
Well, what happens if, this has always been an office position, in the office. We're fortunate right now, we have a volunteer that is sitting in the office and taking care of those aspects, some of them at least, maybe not all of them, in the office that need to be taken care of. If that volunteer decides to leave, we have nobody in the office. And so, what happens if, God forbid, Karen drops dead? How do we recover payroll information? How do we recover files and information so that we can train somebody else to take her position in the office, or anywhere else for that matter? We have no way, no backup. We're totally hanging out there, vulnerable.
So are you saying she's got all this stuff at her house?
She's got some of the stuff at the house.
Well, some of it, but the information.
I don't know
How
what-
are we gonna train somebody in the office when there isn't an office position? If it's all in somebody's home?
But that doesn't make a difference on that part. The training is still gonna be done. It's gonna be done either or, because the payroll is
Who?
done through Big Gabe, because Gabe's doing most of the
Well,
payroll.
right now, but
Right.
it should be being done in the office.
But you're making a scenario of what happens if something happens to her. You're still not gonna have somebody there to train her, because that, whoever is gonna be there is not gonna be there. Tim's gonna have to do the training. He's gonna be there as much as he can.
He can't train
But
on
you,
Karen's job.
you worked from home, so what's the difference?
Well, because I accessed the files, I went down to the station and
Well,
worked.
I
there.
wanna know what files you're saying she has at her house.
And
'Cause
that
every
was
time
for-
we're asked that,
that
she
was-
says she doesn't have them.
When I worked from home, I'd like to clarify this, because this keeps coming up. I'd like
Okay.
to make this clear. This
I
keeps coming up. Well, you work from home, you work from home. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't work from home. I worked in that office every day, 5 days a week, 8 to 5. I worked from home for a very short period of time while we were insolvent, and we didn't have any personnel. We had to work, I had to do 40 hours of work and 40 hours a week worth of work and 20 hours a week. And so I was working from home in order to accomplish that.
Okay.
And we're paying full-time wages for somebody to work from home. That's a 20-hour-a-week job if they're working from home.
I don't believe that.
Well, I
because,
did it.
You do
20
the
hours a
same thing
week.
she's doing now.
There's
You did.
more website work
Oh,
now.
there's a lot of work compared to what you did, because John Flynn, or whatever his last name was, has done a lot of it too. That's why he was our administrator.
I was doing the work for John Flynn and
Okay.
for Chief Moore.
Okay, we got that resolved. We still got the motion on the table. I have to call for a
The
vote.
point is, that is an office job. It always has been. It needs to be returned to the office. At least half of it needs to go to the office. There's at least half of
I
that
call
job.
for the question.
Pardon?
I call for the question, which means it's time to vote. Enough of this.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Let's call for the vote. Joe?
Joe Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Ray Bauer.
Larry,
Charlotte Kiffer, nay.
Larry Tennant, aye.
I didn't hear what you said, Ellen.
Me?
Yes.
Nay.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Okay, we've got 3-2, so it passes to stop the fit for duty evaluation. Okay, next item is 7E, discussion of possible action regarding quotes and information related to repair of LMRFD ambulance not used. That's Larry and admin.
Well, I wanted written quotes. I do not believe in verbal quotes. So I wanna know what it's gonna cost, what they're gonna fix. I have 3 people who are personal friends of mine who are gonna review it and tell us whether we're spending the money. So we don't have it. I'd like to table it to the next meeting and get it fixed.
And what,
Or
was there even
the
a,
ambulance is sitting there unusable because it's got an engine problem. What's it gonna cost to fix it? That's what I wanna know.
was this on any previous agendas to have these quotes done?
I don't believe so.
It's been on there at least twice.
I've not seen it, has Sharp?
The chief got busy. He didn't have them. I want written quotes. I do not want verbal. I wanna know what they're fixing and what it's gonna cost. And I'm not too sure we shouldn't get some form of a guarantee that the work, you know, that we're not just paying something and 2 weeks later it's broken again.
Okay, Larry, I have a question. When and why was this even brought up? Because I don't remember anything being brought up to repair that ambulance that you're talking about.
I talked to the chief personally and asked him for that.
Okay, so you can't do that as a board member. You have to, it has to be done through the board, because that's an approval for the board to do.
Okay, that's fine, but you're sitting there with $100,000 in a garage, okay?
I guess I have a question. Are we needing this ambulance repaired for the money that's gonna cost to fix it versus all the other
Okay,
stuff we have to
I'll
do?
make a motion that we get quotes to repair that ambulance in writing.
Well, there's his first motion. Anybody wanna second it? Are you gonna second or not?
I think it should be done too, but, yeah, I'll make the second. Almost.
Okay, first.
Are we still in discussion?
We can discuss this.
Chief, is this something you wanna do? Is this on the agenda of vehicles and equipment that needs immediate repair, or is this further on down the list?
Well, my opinion, we have 2 spare ambulances right now. We have a spare ambulance down at 41. Correction, we have a spare ambulance, it's not being used. That ambulance, I pulled all the paperwork that Tony had on it, it needs a new motor. The crankshaft busted, it's got major issues. It needs a motor, it's not just gonna be a fix. And I did get quotes, I got 2 that were written, I did not get a third one. And both of them were between $13,000 and $21,000. Do I think that ambulance is worth that much? No. What I believe our district needs is, we need a reserve engine. We do not have a reserve engine. 431's down for 3 weeks now. They had to steal my water source from 41 to bring up here for Meadview. So my tender that, for water source, because we don't have hydrants up here or there, is up here. Now, if we have a big fire in Dolan,
That's correct.
we have our little tender to feed our engine. We do not have a reserve engine. We have a reserve ambulance. I see Larry's point, yeah, because we do a lot of medical. But right now, we have a reserve ambulance that's in running shape that we can switch into, and we do occasionally switch into it when something happens. Do I think it's the highest priority, getting that ambulance fixed? No, before we get a reserve engine. Yes, we do run a lot of medical, but we are still a fire department. We have to put out fire, it's our job. And if one of our engines goes down with major repairs, we don't have a reserve engine. We do have a reserve ambulance that has been covering for when our first due out breaks down. But the expenses that, the 2 quotes I did get, the lowest one was not labor, that's just the new motor, was $13,000, and with a $4,000 core. And the highest one was $20,000 for a new motor with everything on it, and that was not labor. And for the 6.0 that's in that ambulance, they have to take the whole cab off and to replace that motor, and everything that's for that box in the back, the patient compartment, has to be disconnected and everything, and you're looking at 22 to 24 hours of labor. Can you see anything?
I have a question. I thought I saw one from the Ford company in Kingman for about $7,000 or $8,000.
No, the one from Ford was $13,000.
Okay,
So,
That was just parts, that wasn't labor.
okay.
so
The
what,
problem is, you told me and you've told the board that the reserve ambulance that you're talking about had to have some repairs, and was one of them, and I think was air conditioning. I don't know the rest. But we are a fire medic system.
Yes, we are.
And therefore, we have to be able to figure out how to transport. If it's too expensive, I understand. But you can't replace it for $20,000. You can't buy a new one or a used one.
Okay,
Could I have a little input?
yes.
Because I'd like to point out that it's not only the cost of replacing the engine, we then have to insure it, $500 or so a year for insurance, $150 or so a year for the DHS inspection and license. Then we have to keep it stocked with medical supplies, and those have to be kept current, so that has to be turned over. If it's sitting out in the back 40 with the tires rotting off of it and the rats eating the wiring out of it, it's still got to have that medical stuff replenished on a monthly basis, I believe it is. It has to have a monitor on it, because if it's licensed and insured and functional, it's supposed to have a monitor on it, this is what I'm told. So there's another $150,000 or $25,000 for a monitor. And we don't need it. It's going to sit there. It's just going to sit there as a backup, a third backup. Why? We don't have another crew. We don't have another medical
It'd
crew.
be second backup.
Is the second backup reliable?
The one we
7
have,
days a week.
the one we have now, yes.
Okay, I'll rescind the motion and I'll hook up the horses to it like I have the picture and you can drag it around.
Oh,
I think, I honestly think that rig and the fuel truck that we used to use in Meadview that's in the lower bay sitting there should all be surplused, I think,
Oh, you can put those on the agenda.
on the agenda.
yeah, okay. That would make sense. Put it toward an engine.
Exactly. Karen, did you ever find anything on the financial?
Yeah, but I'm handling a matter real quick.
Okay, well, we'll keep going.
I think you had a couple of
I think we got one.
comments from the public and that.
I really wanted to stop that kind of stuff because it takes our meetings so
Oh,
long. They can do the
right.
public,
Okay,
call
all
the
right.
public.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We've got one item left and then we can do call the public. 7F, well, actually 2 on the financial if we do it. Discussion of possible action regarding DSCC, Dolan Springs Chamber Council, Community Council, sorry about that, fundraiser, pancake breakfast, reference event information, and event information related to boot campaign and alike for fundraising efforts.
the pancake fundraising breakfast is the 12th of October. $6 for pancakes and sausage, coffee, or water. There will be a silent auction that's occurring at that time as well. We're getting donations for that as we speak. It'll be from 7:30 to 10:30. We're looking for folks to help volunteer, whether it be bus tables or sit at the silent auction table. We'll be working out the particulars with the chief about using the bays and getting the tables there. We're very excited about it. We think that the community will come out for it. And we're hoping that people in Meadview can get the word out to folks here about the pancake breakfast. So that's moving ahead. And I have a question. I don't know, is there anything going on in Meadview with the VFW doing a spaghetti dinner fundraiser for LMRFD?
There was something, he may know.
Mike may know.
There was something in the comm paper that they had something, I think it went, I'm not a VFW
Okay.
person.
Did the
but Mike might
VFW
know.
do a spaghetti dinner fundraiser for LMRFD, Mike? Did I hear that
He had,
correctly?
the American Legion Auxiliary did, yeah.
American
Yeah.
Legion Auxiliary. And was it successful?
Yeah, I forget what they donated.
To
After
LMRFD?
expenses, 4 or 5, yeah. I forget how much it
Any
was.
donation?
Did you get a
4 or 5 hundred.
donation?
Not that I know of.
Well, I know they were looking, I told them to get a hold of the board of the chiefs, because they wanted it specifically, but I don't think you could ask go in the general public for supplies for the station here. And I don't know if they got a hold of you, I told them to get a hold of Joe and them and you guys, to see where
I haven't gotten any
the
calls.
money would be directed.
Well, why don't you have them call chief?
Okay,
On
so,
it.
well, okay.
We have, we were very ambitious at the last meeting and set a $10,000 goal fundraiser for this year from July 1 through June 30th.
Uh-huh.
And so we're, not only is DSCC doing the pancake breakfast, which is the 12th, and we're hoping to get the word out to folks in Leadview to come down and support that.
When is it?
The 12th of October,
Uh-oh.
Saturday.
That's good, that's when we're having our Oktoberfest.
Ah, okay, well, if they probably
your
need
phone?
breakfast
No,
before the
that's
rest
the
of the
work
day,
one.
they can come on down.
That's not a good thing, it's already dying.
Right, that's not
Yeah,
good.
right.
It just started at 7, we started at 7, we tried to
The other thing is, Chief, you and I spoke briefly about boot campaign. You know, the MDA, muscular dystrophy, for years used to do the boot campaign. Labor Day weekend was typically the time they do it, they'd be out on intersections. And my hope is that we can make some decisions about doing this. I'd like to aim for, especially holiday weekends coming up. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas. The one place I can think of is that Chevron station down on Pierce Ferry in 93. You know, if we had, whether it be volunteers, I would even volunteer to go down during that weekend, 4-day weekend, or over Christmas, you know, with a sign explaining what this is about. You know, we may be out there next after you get your gas, picking you up off the ground, or whatever it may
Oh,
be.
yeah.
You know, your life depends upon this.
Yeah.
And even consider doing boots at various locations in town. For instance, DSCC does a Friday night dinner, we can have the boot out, we can encourage people to throw money in that, and other places where people can continue to throw their spare change or whatever. I see the boot campaign as being another avenue of generating some monies for the district.
Absolutely.
So, maybe between now and the next meeting, coming back with a plan about how to do the boot campaign for the rest of our funding year, and especially over the holiday weekends. And at our next meeting, we should have a report, because all the proceeds from the pancake breakfast goes to the district. We've indicated it's for fire outfits. We knew they wouldn't know what call-outs were. So we said fire person suits, or whatever we called it. So that's money that you all will decide what you want to do with it, under the line in the budget for donations. So we got to be creative, we got to think of ways to be raising some money to help offset these expenses, especially we have such aging equipment, Lord knows. And so, yeah, that's the
Have
update.
boots? Do you have extra boots up there?
We do.
If you can clean them up and you want to think of locations where we can put them out there, or, we.
Yeah, I'll
pick-
bet Dolan Station would put one
Dolan
down there.
Station would,
That'd be
that's
a good
very-
one, they get a lot of.
They do get a lot of traffic there.
I used to stand in the middle of the street with a boot for Jerry's kids.
I'll ask them if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
okay, cool, thank you, Charlotte. Call to, number 8, call to the public and correspondence. I know Christina had a question on something.
I'm just wondering, that second ambulance, that's down in Dolan, right? What is the value of a Meadview Life? And could I get a report for the last year of all ambulance runs to Meadview, when it was called in and how long it took until it got here? That's what I'd like to see.
To fill out a request form. Have you done that? I know you did some. Did
Oh,
you
yes,
request
many, never got anything.
Well, you will with him.
You haven't filled one out since I've been here. I have not seen them.
Well, does that mean before you got here, they don't count?
I
Probably because
I
probably
can't
not
tell you
there.
what happened.
Yeah, I know, but,
Exactly.
I know I've been waiting for some stuff for years.
Can you please
Karen?
get another one in?
Aaron, how about it?
Okay, we're not putting anybody on the spot. Patty?
Okay, Pat Kelly, Box 94, Meadview. Two things. I know you can't probably answer me because
because it's called to the public, but I got the impression that one of the bay doors is busted down here, cause they're parking the ambulance outside now. And I was kinda curious, is it actually broken?
No.
And is there a plan to fix it? And
There's no broken doors. The reason why the ambulance is outside is because engine 431 is broken down. They can't start, so we can't move it out.
oh,
And we have a tender up here to provide water in case you guys have a fire.
okay.
So one of them has to go outside. The bay's not big enough, park them all.
Okay, then I misheard something.
Yeah.
Um,
I noticed that a lot up here. A lot of people mishear, and we get it as, this is happening, and that's not true.
Well, I misheard it from a fireman.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say as a taxpayer, everybody hasn't been here as long as everybody else. 10 years ago, and several fire chiefs back, we had people up there at the last stop. And it was a huge fiasco, and personnel. It was a huge fiasco, and it cost us way more than it ever bought us. And I would like to say as a taxpayer, that before we ever talk about having maybe a station, you know, maybe crew up there, I would hope that there would be bunches of people annexed in, not just a subscription. Because you can buy a subscription this year and decide you don't want it next year.
Exactly.
But this is not the first time there was gonna be a housing development up there, and the whole
I know.
thing, you know.
I'm fully aware of all that, and I'm not in the process of putting any personnel out there. We're talking 6 to 10 years. I'm not talking putting anybody out there this weekend. We're not, no.
Okay, because we've been there and done that.
Oh, I know, I'm fully aware of what they've done. I've done homework. I know,
Russ gave us the place last time too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay, you had a question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, as far as reserve ambulances, for that much money, the US government sells, used ambulances less than 20,000 miles for $20,000.
Okay.
That's,
price
there's a lot of avenues to go
Oh, sure.
to,
That's a lot of money to fix that.
the Larry's wanting, and I understand what he's wanting. If our backup goes down, yeah. But there are ways to get cheaper through federal surplus and that we can get an ambulance that's way cheaper than, that have, like Jay said, lower miles that we can get to replace that. So,
Okay.
instead of putting that much money into buying a motor for that one.
Okay, did anybody else have any questions? Public?
So I was looking to see,
Madam
let's see.
Chair, I have a question.
Okay,
The question is, if it's all surplus, how come we haven't been looking at it right now?
because we can't afford it,
It's surplus on the ambulance.
can't afford
We're
it.
not looking at it.
Don't need it.
Okay, that was the last item, Karen, did you find anything out about the financials?
Yeah, let me read it here to you. It's ARS 48807O. Fire district shall reconcile all balance sheet accounts for each calendar month of the fiscal year within 30 days after the end of that calendar month. The fire district board shall review the The fire district board shall review the reconciled balance sheet accounts monthly.
So if his report is through the end of August, we have to approve it by the end of September.
And that's like 5 days from now.
We certainly, if we vote, you can abstain, we've taken a vote.
Okay.
30 days from August 31st, right?
Mhm. So we only have till the 31st of this month, or 30th, whatever this month falls into. Well,
May I suggest a 15-minute recess to look at the financial
Oh, that's
report?
an excellent idea, Walt.
sure. Yeah, I would like to take a 15-minute break so we can review the financials, so that we can get this approved.
Quick
Anybody want
thinking. I already did mine. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. Do I need a motion on that? I don't
Maybe.
think so.
I'll make a motion,
We'll
just
do
to
it
be on the
just to
safe
cover
side, yeah. I'll make a motion that we take a 15-minute recess to review the financials.
I'll second it. And call the vote.
Joe Campbell, aye.
Debbie, aye.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry?
I
Larry,
don't like it, but
have you read the financials?
I have some of them, yep.
Okay, that's why we're taking a 15-minute break so you can finish
I
them.
understand.
Okay, we're approved. We're gonna take a 15-minute break so we can review the financials.
Call me back when you're ready.
Okay,
Do we need, we're gonna get Gabe then too, huh?
yes,
He's available.
yeah.
I'm gonna go way down here.
Yeah, now way back here, this is financials. Something's beeping.
Picking up.
Oh, okay.
Much better than having a special meeting.
Financial.
Yeah.
Luke.
Well, here's the printed out ones that you didn't get, because they're in the, they were sent to us. That's my copy, but you can look at mine if you want, because I've looked at them already. Do we have enough battery on that for her to do Gabe's call?
What's needed?
No reason to have that running.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I had a banner made, and I was on the board, I'd like to donate it to you. That'd be okay, you can use it when you have your fundraisers or whatever, should I bring it to you or to give it to the chief?
Cool. Why don't you
You're
drop
gonna
it?
take, you're gonna take a 15-minute break, I'll just run and get it, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, thank you, Mike.
Did you find a place to hang that fundraiser chart that I dropped off here?
I did,
Oh,
kinda.
Good.
Was that the one with the money on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, I've seen it.
Oh, good.
I was gonna hang it on the file room door.
Oh, that works. I just kinda left it draped in a pile there, I wasn't sure if it found a home.
Jay, did you get that update on the roller? On your 911?
They didn't see anything, just that basic one came out.
All that Stephen James,
Mhm.
I don't understand a bit of it. Especially this.
Yeah, this is where all the checks went out to.
Hmm?
How are they gonna get that engine out of there when they're ready to?
Man,
They're gonna put the part in, start it,
I
and
don't
drive
know
it
why
out.
we
Oh, they're
paid
gonna
him
fix it.
$8,000 this
Make sure
month.
them pop, haven't.
he
That's
big
our-
move.
Nope, it's gonna be fixed right there. The part's on its way, it's
I
gonna
wanna know
be
too
put
on
in
this
and
one, right? I have
it'll
another
be
one
good to
here.
go.
Deal with our payroll.
The part that needs to be replaced is preventing it from being started.
Services,
Mhm.
and then 180 for services.
Right,
And we were told it was under
and
$100.
Karen can do it without mistakes.
We were told it was $100 or something, and that's totaling almost 300.
Yeah,
The reason why they said the door is broke is because they
That's what I
misplaced the
think it is.
garage door clicker.
The what?
They kept saying the garage door was broke because it wouldn't go up or down. Well, when they switched rigs, they didn't take the proper garage door clicker, so they're pushing the button of the one for 41,
Oh, my
and
gosh.
it doesn't open the door.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cause I know
Lord.
we had that door repaired multiple times, and it's just, A1 garage.
Yeah, it works, they just, they got the right clicker.
So they just didn't want to feel stupid because they had the wrong clicker.
Yeah, the door's broke. But the ambulance is back in the bay, the water tanker's sitting out back.
Well, the way it went was, I kept seeing it out there when I came to get the mail. And I saw some guy in his vehicle in the street in front of the station. And I thought they were speaking out how they were gonna steal the gas. So I called down there and talked to somebody that was on duty, and we had this whole big conversation. Well, we think what he was really doing was stealing Wi-Fi, so I guess we have an open Wi-Fi down there.
No,
It's
protected.
locked,
Well, there's somebody that sits there in the street in their vehicle.
because they're using ours at the
Oh.
library. We have 24/7 Wi-Fi.
Right, well, it was just weird because they were sitting right in front of the station.
Well, I
Yeah,
know,
that would be
I
a
know
weird
in
spot to
front of
park.
our station down here is the only place I can pick up the libraries.
Really?
I can't pick it up in the parking lot, but I can pick it up in front of the station.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because people sit there in front of the library, if you're, freaked me out one day in the dark, I went to go put a book in the book drop, and I kinda didn't wanna pull in because this person was sitting there and I didn't know what they were up to, and then they told me, oh, they're using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we have 24/7.
Yeah. Kinda freaky after dark.
People
Yeah.
sitting in the librry parking lot bowling all the time.
It's the,
Yeah.
what cracks me up was when we did a thing asking to unblock porn for them. I'm sorry, it's against our policy. It's against the law, by the way, it's a felony, you gotta get
We
caught
used to-
doing that.
We used to have a lady over here that sat at the computer and looked at porn.
It was probably before we implemented the policy, because by Arizona law, public libraries can't have porn accessible. And so we have it blocked as best we can, but there's still some sites that get through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny though when we get somebody requesting to have them unlocked. But yeah, good luck on that one, dude.
Well, that's a good reason why they're.
Well, anybody would have nerve enough to
Sitting
do
in
it.
front of the library.
Deb, can you turn it back on your phone? This one's at 1%.
Yeah, I can call them back.
Nice, Deb.
Is it? Sure, it's just about done.
I'm good.
Are you good?
Done? Yep.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi Karen, I had to call you back on my phone because the battery's almost dead on the other one.
Oh, okay.
So can you go ahead and get Gabe on the phone? We're ready.
Yep, hang on.
Okay. I guess we need to go back into session. Back on.
Okay, Larry, we're back in the meeting. Hang on, I get Gabe on the phone. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we are now going back to the financial reports, discussion of possible
Train's going.
car horn.
Larry?
That's a new way to call the meeting to order.
Yeah, good.
Sure is, isn't it?
Yes,
This is it.
it's not ours.
Give me just 1 second here to get the report up.
Okay, whose car horns? Oh, there we go. Discussion and approval of August 2019 financial report. That's Gabe and admin. It'll go off every 15 seconds until we turn it off.
Either Karen's or Dave's or
Oh,
Larry's.
it's probably down by Gabe's office.
Oops, sorry.
Gabe, are you on the line? I am. I just pulled up the report. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are.
No, I'm just one. Oh, okay. I was going to say, accountants never die. They just lose their balance. All right. Well, good afternoon, members of the board.
Okay.
You have the August financial report in your packet. For the month of August, our total revenue was at just over $61,000.
Of that, 16,000 was property tax revenue and 45,000 was non-levy revenue. We were over budget for the month by $29,793 in revenues. The majority of that being related to ambulance collections. And again, a lot of it's because of the non-billing in the past between the transition, and finally a lot of those monies are starting to come in. So that's why we're doing so well on our ambulance revenue. On the expense side, total expenses are at $59,892. We were under budget by $4,562. Couple things on that I wanted to point out is personnel costs were under budget due to the use of the POCs versus full-time employees. And communications and IT was over budget for the month. And that was due to our annual payment for our EPCRs. From a year-to-date standpoint, total revenues at $109,000, which is $51,000 over budget. And total expenses are $119,000, which is $25,000 under budget. Unless there's any other questions, that's the report for August.
I have a question on the revenue, real estate PP tax revenue. Isn't that 2018-19? Because the tax bills, I haven't got mine yet.
So
for 1920.
That's exactly it. So we're still kind of collecting some of the prior year stuff.
Okay.
But they are collecting some current year on some other things.
Okay.
But yeah, the majority of it's prior year.
Okay.
I have a question on something, can I ask you? Dave,
Yes.
I have a question on page 8. It's dealing with the paycheck system. It's fifth one down on the list. It's saying payroll period 2019-07-19 through August 1st, and I think it says services after that. We paid $119.68. Is that?
Yes.
That's for the services for using them for that pay period?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so then the one that's down below is the same thing for $180 that I'm seeing for the same services. I was under the assumption that from when we were given all the information on this services, that it was under $100 a month for these services, and this totals almost $300 for the month.
Yeah, so we have been getting charged premium based on some timing on when payroll is getting to our office to when we can process. So we're working with Karen on actually we're going to probably transition the payroll function back to her because she is, we've got all the controls in place now with the paycheck system, which we feel more comfortable with.
I have a question, Gabe. I understand that Paychex has missed a couple checks to our personnel. That is not accessible. That is not allowed.
No, Paychex has not missed any checks to your personnel. If any personnel did not receive a paycheck, it was due to their personnel information not being in the system in time for payroll, and nothing to do with the paycheck system.
Well, then you and Karen need to straighten that out because that's not what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So as long as I got this, so you're saying that this, are we getting rid of the paycheck system, or you're saying that you got it more under control?
No, we're not getting rid of the paycheck system.
Okay.
The paycheck system has the internal controls and things of that nature, but, we're not, by the time we get the time cards, we don't have enough time to turn it around to process payroll without it being charged a premium. So we're going to turn everything back over to Karen here within probably the next pay period or two. So after she finishes reconciling the time cards, she could process payroll then at that time.
Question. Wouldn't it be just as easy to let Karen process everything and knock this off and then we don't have this problem?
Well, that's what I was just saying. We'll get her back into the paycheck system. We'll get her into the paycheck system doing it.
But
We've left
paychecks is still
QuickBooks
gonna be involved.
because there's no
We're still
internal
paying
controls in
us
QuickBooks,
$150
and there's been too many breaches of internal controls with the QuickBooks system. Paychex has the controls in the audit report to prevent that. but we will get Karen back into it, so we eliminate some of these delays that are occurring.
Will we eliminate the high charges from paychecks?
Yeah, they will go down. Yes.
So then how much will it be without
It'll be,
the premium?
the premium's about, I believe the premium processing $60 per pay period.
Oh.
So then we'll be back down to what we have in the budget.
Okay, that's what I was concerned with, because this was like triple the amount that we were told, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only question.
Okay.
That was mine too. I think Karen could do it and save us all a lot of time and get it done all the way, but that's me personally. I don't know that we need a whole bunch of other things, but you two need to work that out. I don't like it when I get told they didn't get their paycheck.
I would agree. Yeah, that's definitely not something we want to have happen.
Good.
And
Okay.
I've had it twice now.
Okay, sure. Okay,
Yeah.
Charlotte has some questions for you.
It's gonna be on page 7, hi Dave, and I would have asked Karen this if I had, been in town and gotten this in enough time to ask her, so I have to ask it now. The second one, payment is for Boyle, Petrick, Klein for $1,055. Can you tell me
Yes.
what that's for?
I have no idea, no way of knowing that. I don't have those
Okay.
invoices.
Karen, is that the investigator?
No, that's the invoice that you guys approved for me to pay and hold off on the $6,000 one.
Oh, okay, that's the attorney, okay. And then my last question is, Tim Smith, who does a great job, this is not about Tim's ability and what he's doing, but there are 3 payments to Tim. 2 of them have under the memo what the repairs were that he did. I'll start from the bottom. It's the A1165 repairs for $1296.96. You go up maybe almost halfway. It's the E411/C401 maintenance and repairs for $731.25. But the one maybe a third of the way down, Tim Smith vehicle repairs and parts, $3,500. Pretty significant compared to the other 2, and it doesn't tell me what he repaired or what parts. Can you tell me what that $3,500 is?
Remember which rig that was?
That was 1165, that's the ambulance that the,
Mouse got in,
the
rat got in?
yeah, the rat was in it, but that is still getting worked through our insurance also, so that's,
But that's on the third one, chief, for the last one down, 1165 repairs for
There's
$1296.96.
two payouts, so it makes it, right around $4,596.
the one was for the air conditioner on 1165.
Okay, and that may
And
be the
then,
3,500.
yeah, and then the other one was for the, all the motor repairs and, or the fan blade and the belt and all that.
Yeah,
for
so
the-
the 525 is probably air conditioner, 3,500 is probably the engine.
Right, okay. That's my question, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions?
I do.
Ellen does. Ellen has a present for you.
Actually, this is probably
Oh,
for
it's
Karen.
probably Karen.
Yeah, this is,
This is for Karen Question.
on the Chase account for July 31st, there's a Tony DeMaio for $199.99. Just curious what that is. Because he was out the end of May, I believe.
Yep,
I can answer that.
okay.
Okay.
If
Okay.
Karen. That was on his Amazon account that he set up for the district. That was parts for our ice machine to repair the pump and that on the ice machine. And that was on the Amazon account he set up under his name before they switched it over.
Oh, okay.
That was the ice machine that we got set up for, to put ice in all the coolers.
So it just was a delay in getting the bill
Yes,
for that?
for them
Yeah,
to,
okay.
the Amazon account where we found the parts the cheapest was under his
I see.
account set up.
So is that his personal one or for the district?
No, that's for the district, but
Okay,
it was, and it's been changed.
I was just gonna ask you if you got all this changed out.
Karen got that changed.
Okay, I know it's not easy to do, but.
And then I have is the grant gonna reimburse these the hotel costs for the people attending the fire class? Cool, right on. One other one, I think there's just one more. Who is Ciara Meja attendee? We have 179.50.
She's our full-time EMT on C shift. Sierra, Mia.
Oh, I didn't know, I thought we just had the 3 guys going to the fire training, I didn't know she attended.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool, right on.
She's full-time, is that correct, Chief?
I do have one more, sorry, that wasn't the last one. There's 2 accounts here for iPower, $39.95 each for mailbox storage of 10 gigs each. Just curious, there's 2 of them, I had to ask.
I had to up the storage on the tapes, and I believe
Is this for our, is that for our email?
yes.
So we get separate bills for each of the different email accounts? Is that how it works? Different
I'm sorry,
accounts?
what?
Is there different accounts for each of the different email accounts for each person?
It's all one account, but when they up the storage, they invoice separately.
So the number on there is, it looks like an account number. There's 2 different account numbers,
It's probably, yeah, it's probably related to each email. Even though it's one account, that's not, that's weird.
different invoice, that's an
Uh-huh,
invoice, not an
yeah.
account? It
I think
doesn't,
it's an invoice number.
doesn't say so, but
Yeah.
okay, I guess I'll buy that. Here's another one for 1051.
And that one's just upgraded storage too.
I know, the emails, the websites, their billings are such a pain in the neck.
Yes,
so.
they are. We get them constantly.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Did we make, oh, never mind. We haven't gotten that far yet. Okay, I think that's all the questions, Gabe.
All right.
I guess we need a motion to approve the financials.
I so move.
I'll second.
All,
Bill Campbell, aye.
Deborah Cass, aye.
Ellen Ray Bauer, aye.
Charlotte Kiffer, aye.
Larry Tennant, aye.
Budgets, or financials have been approved. Okay, I gotta find my sheets. Just a minute. I lost my second page. Okay, next item on the agenda is consideration of future agenda items. Besides the ones we tabled, did anybody have anything they wanted to add?
Oh, I thought of something that was, I didn't write it down.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir?
I would like to see us add 2 things on the future agenda.
Okay,
First of all, I would like to see us add legal attorney fees. I want to see why we're spending so much money, and I want to see what we need to do there, and also accounting fees. I'd like to know and go through it and discuss it. We spend a lot of money there.
okay.
Where was the attorney? I didn't see a lot of attorney fees this time.
We didn't have
didn't have
a,
it.
we didn't have a
We
bill.
didn't have a bill from them.
Oh.
Okay,
Sounds enough
I
going
put
on.
I wrote those 2 down, Larry.
And that,
Okay,
I
I
think,
just would like it on the agenda, and I'd like to discuss it, because I looked at a $4 million district. They have 10,000 budgeted for legal fees. They spent less than 5. We're a $1 million budget, and we got 20,000 budgeted.
Okay, we understand.
Something ain't right here.
Okay. Charlotte?
want to make sure we get on there that we're reviewing the last, invoice from the attorney, taking a look at the cost for the EEOC that we're questioning whether or not, we are supposed to be charged for that.
And Bill is aware that we're getting all this right.
Well, he's supposed to be, his
I
guy
know.
was having surgery.
Oh, okay.
You weren't there. His guy, Zavala, who's a lot of the contacts, was having open heart surgery and wasn't gonna be available through the September meeting, so we kicked it to October.
Oh, okay.
So, Karen, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay. We want to make sure that Bill is aware that we want the accounting from Zavala. I will work on getting the costs that I have in question that we should not have been charged for. I'll get that out in the next week to 10 days. But he needs to get, once he gets that, he needs to get Zavala's input on that. So I just don't want it to be the day of the meeting at 9:45, we get something.
So you want the last invoice and the
Yeah.
EOC follow-up, right?
Yeah,
I would just like to see why we spend so much in attorneys and legal fees.
Okay,
I didn't spend that much on a $500,000 fire station.
okay, we understand.
We've had a lot of stuff to clean up, so.
Okay. Anything else, Charlotte?
Under date and location is the only thing. I think because we missed a meeting in Meadview,
Mhm.
I think the next one was supposed to be in Meadview as well.
Mhm. I think so. Okay, so instead of Dolan, it should be Meadview?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty.
I don't know if Tim can put something on the agenda, but if not, he wants to discuss the paycheck system, that we can get some detailed information and discussion and possible action on that.
Okay. And that'll be added too. Okay, so everybody's in consensus, the next meeting will be here?
Yep.
Okay, all right, the next regular board meeting, date will be October 28th at 12:30 in Meadview.
If they have a space available.
If they have it available.
If we're not out in the parking lot.
Yeah, I'll put on here, if available.
And can we confirm that the attorney will be available at 10:30 and not driving in his car to his
Sure.
next appointment?
Yes, we will.
28th?
Yes.
October 28th.
He is, he's blocked to the end of the year.
Is what?
Blocked us through
Oh.
the end of the year at 10:30.
Yeah,
Is
okay.
there any way we can make it so he's not driving somewhere?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Well, I think we need
I
to.
know people.
Debbie,
Okay.
can I ask you a question?
In Meadview
Did you
again.
guys book this through the office?
Yes.
Yes.
And they should have notified somebody if, I mean,
Mhm.
They told us, when I called, they
Yes,
said they
they'll
were
be here
waxing
meeting.
the floors over there, so they put us in here.
oh, okay, so we knew it.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they're supposed to, they were booked.
yeah, it was just due to, they got that room tore up because of the floors. They're not gonna be done until tomorrow, so.
Okay, does anybody have anything else? Shall we adjourn the meeting? I make a motion
So the
to,
next meeting's October 28th in Meadview?
yes,
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Call to the board.
Joe Campbell, A.
Deborah Cass, yes.
Ellen Ray Bauer, yes.
Charlotte Kiffer, nay.
You don't want to,
Larry, yes.
Don't want to adjourn the meeting. I've never seen anybody do that before.
the meeting's adjourned at
Now
2:07.
this goes to Debbie, I cleaned it out.
Oh, that's right. I
It's
forgot.
nice to sit here on the phone and can't see the faces everybody's making at me.
Yeah.
Mike's got something to bring up.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Where's the best one?
Here, door, turn right.
It's a maze back there, she said.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of have to feel your way around once you, but you'll find it.
Do they give like a trail for you, or do you
No,
have to figure it
no,
out?
it's just kind of like figure it out.
Mary
There's not-
Dowdy, you know Mary Dowdy down there
Not a
in
whole lot of
Dolan?
options.
She's the president of the auxiliary. Might want to get in touch with her as far as that money. You know, remember down there?
I don't have anything on her. Okay,
I was
well,
trying to get hold of Jeannie, you wanted to cook.
whoever you talk to, just have them contact
Okay,
Tim,
is
because
that
I,
fire station? Okay.
yeah, because I really won't have anything.
Okay.
I mean, we can, we'll accept the donation and everything, but he's gonna be doing all the parts for you, so.
I don't, I'll have to look at the plans.
They asked me, and I said, just get hold of chief, so.
Okay, that'll be great.
County sent it to you, or
Thanks,
is it-
Mike.
Hope South's right.
It's not raining right
Developer sent
now.
me the first one, county sent me the
I know it's
second.
raining right now.
Huh?
It's not raining right
No,
now.
it's not. Also, we're gonna leave these here, right?
Yes, did you clean it out?
Yes, I did.
Yep, I gotta take it.
No, messed them up.
I put the scope in.
You know,
Oh, you did tell me that.
Yeah, and I have them resting in my fridge now for 2 weeks. I was gonna look at them yesterday.
Did you turn that camera off?
know that they
I didn't get to
are.
it yesterday.
My
I
problem
wanna
is the
try
girls
it
that
and see if
they
there's a
just
picture,
pick
because
them
my
up.
last one actually made us.
No idea.
No, because,
agree, 100%.
yes, because I had to start up over there.
Can you camera off?
And I had I don't know if that's
Jim,
right
camera.
anymore, but I have most of the ones.
Thank you.